Alright, so I am back for another video recapping my favorite reads of 2021. Today we're going to be talking about GL and BL manga, which is quite a big stack, as you can see. So yes, let's dive right in because I feel like this is going to be a pretty long video. So let's start off with my favorite read, Doughnuts Under a Crescent Moon. So this is one of my favorite GLs. I love this so much because it's so relatable. So you have two office workers, one who, you know, has a lot of pressure in her life from, you know, society, her friends, her family. They want her to settle down. She's been dating around with a bunch of guys, and you know, nothing's really working out for her. So then she starts blaming herself, like maybe there's something wrong with her. She doesn't really know. Then one day she starts getting a little bit closer to her very shy, introverted coworker, and little by little they both start learning more about each other, depending more on each other as well. She also starts questioning her sexuality. Maybe there isn't anything wrong with her. Maybe she was just not into men at all. So yes, I find it to be a very heartwarming, endearing slice of life romance featuring adult women, and they tackle just, you know, things that women go through. So I really enjoyed this. It is a completed series. It hasn't been completed in English, but in Japan it has, so there's only going to be 4 volumes, and there are 2 volumes out in English so far. Another relatable GL that takes place in the office. We have Still Sick. So we have a coworker who is a engineer. She's 29, I believe. Then you have this woman right here who is her co-worker. She works in a different department, kind of like HR. And you have an otaku. So this is also kind of an otaku manga. You have a woman here who writes yuri manga as a hobby, but keeps it a secret from her other co-workers. So she doesn't want to like start any rumors in the office that she might be gay. And then you have her who was an ex-mangaka who left that world to just become a regular schmegular office worker. So she goes into a convention and finds her coworker selling her manga there. She freaks out because somebody in the office found her secret, and they befriend one another. She starts teaching her about yuri manga, and then finds out that she actually was a published mangaka. And yeah, like much like Doughnuts Under a Crescent Moon, you have 2 women that, you know, are getting older, dealing with all these societal pressures, and those are their family just asking them like, hey, like, when are you gonna settle down? So they befriend one another, of course, since it is a romance, sparks fly. But I find the progression between them as individuals and them hopping into a relationship, it flows very well. They deal with a lot of issues, but they do talk things through. So yeah, really liked it. Again, I related to the issues about, you know, growing older and people just pressuring you to settle down. So I really did enjoy that one. Then we have Our Teachers Are Dating. This is such a cute romantic comedy featuring 2 teachers, of course. So this is kind of the GL equivalent to Sweat and Soap. It's a little smutty, but they have such great communication with one another. They complement each other very well. They both adore one another. There's also comedic moments, much like Sweat and Soap. So yes, it's just such a fun read. Highly recommend this guy. And then we have, this is also kind of a slice of life. This is Days of Love at Seagull Villa. This is not the perfect series. There is an element in this series that I don't like, that I wish would just have not been included. But the reason why I really enjoyed it was because of our 2 adult characters. So you have a city woman who runs off into the countryside and meets her, and she starts working through all her insecurities. Again, much like Still Sick and Doughnuts Under a Crescent Moon, she's been under a lot of pressure. She, you know, feels lost and doesn't really know what to do with her life. And then she meets this, you know, very just you know, very chill, free spirit, and yeah, they embark on a friendship, and then from there, she starts working through her trust issues. She starts depending more on her as well, because she's basically taking care of her sister's daughter. All her family passed away, so she's the only one, you know, from a young age acting like a mother. So yeah, I really did enjoy it. The thing I did not enjoy was there's a little neighbor slash friend who has feelings for her stepsister, and it gets a little weird, but I can look past it just because they're not the main characters. But yeah, these two, I adore their story. Their story makes the series worth it for me. So there's that. And then this is a recent read. So this is a historical romance, but make it a GL. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. The reason why I really enjoyed it is because it does take in a very, you know, in a very historical setting. You have Oscar Wilde, you have the women's suffragette movement. So you have these, you know, historical events that you read in books, but you know, now you have a love story between an English woman and her Japanese maid, and they both adore and respect one another. The drama's really good. It definitely left me in tears. It's a good one. It's a good one. But yeah, the storyline, amazing. The artwork, even more beautiful. So I don't hear too many people talk about this guy, and I wish more people would check it out because it's just really well written. So yeah, Goodbye My Rose Garden. I highly recommend it. It was definitely a nice surprise. I picked it up on a whim just because it looked different, and I'm so glad that I took the time to read it because it definitely blew me away. So now for the BL. Let's start off with, oh my god, I didn't even know where to start off. Let's start off with Birds of Shangri-La, which I have to like cover his booty. So this is a very dramatic story. Kind of has a murder mystery element to it. Takes place in a male brothel, this paradise where people go and basically hook up with the birds. So a judge-free zone to unleash all your sexual desires. You have a straight man who is fresh out of a divorce that's just looking for a job, and he finds out with one of the birds. Basically his job is to get the bird prepared for, you know, his work, his sexual work. One of the rules is they cannot fall in love with one another, and they can also not go all the way when you're getting ready. So yes, and the bird is just really really infatuated with the straight man. Let me just find a panel that I can show you, because our straight male lead is very attractive. I mean, he's super handsome, so all the birds are like, ooh, look at him, like he is fine. And the bird that he's assigned to is also quite attractive as well, but he has a very tragic past. And yeah, ooh, cannot show that, but there you can see him. So yeah, they're basically getting to know one another. Volume 2, you get to know more of his tragic past. And yeah, I mean, the spice is there, but the plot is also quite good, so definitely will keep you on your toes. Then we have Given. I'm not going to elaborate too much on Given because I feel like everyone knows about Given. So this is a story about a band. So you have two high schoolers, two college students. I mean, you basically have relationship here, very sad. Very sad. I mean, all of them have their own tragic backstories. You have him who was in a previous relationship and his boyfriend died. You have him who's in a very unstable relationship. You have him who is, you know, trying to get him to notice him, and you know, it doesn't really work out the way he wants to. So yeah, it's very dramatic. It deals with music, obviously. You can see they're in a band, and yeah, just the process of making music together, learning about their strengths and weaknesses, each individual relationship that you get. Beautifully written, artwork's beautiful as well. The anime is beautiful. If you want to listen to the music, you can as well. It helps with the manga. So if you have not read Given, highly recommend it. It's a little bit tougher to find because it literally flies off the shelves. Like, this is one of the best BLs, so yes, do recommend it. Now let's talk about Secret XXX and Therapy Game. They go hand in hand. So in this one, you follow a young man who is infatuated with this older man. He winds up working for him, and then they embark in a relationship. So yeah, I found it to be very cute. I love their relationship. A little dramatic at times, but he's just such a cutie pie, so I really loved it. And in this story, you get introduced to his younger brother, which is this guy, Minato, right here. And then in Therapy Game, you follow Minato and Shizuma. Minato is his brother, and then you have Shizuma, who they're related. Their relationships are very different. So in Secret XXX, you have a younger man who's infatuated with this older man. They're very lovey-dovey. In Therapy Game, you have two men in their 20s who, it's much more dramatic because you do have them learn more about each other. Minato has a very tragic past, which you do see more in volume 2 of Therapy Game. And yeah, like, this is definitely more intense. There's more spice in this one as well, but both stories are very well written. Shizuma I adore. Like, he is such a supportive guy, and he is an openly bisexual man. By the time that volume 1 ends, like, he realizes that he is bisexual. So yes, I do enjoy both of them. I really did love them, and I do recommend them. Then we have my two favorite BL reads. So we have our Dining Table, which I spoke a lot about over on TikTok. This is such a beautiful story. No spice, but basically you have two adult men who, you know, just embark on a friendship, then later get into a relationship. But you have a man who was adopted by a family, who grew up being very scared and ashamed to have a meal with family because of how he was raised and how he was excluded by his step siblings. So yeah, he never really learned to appreciate you know, having quality time with people, just sitting down, eating, conversing. So one day when he's at the park, he meets this young man and his young brother and gets invited to go have dinner with them. And then from there, he befriends both of them and start building this beautiful friendship that then blossoms into a romance. And it's just such a cute, wholesome read. And their romance is just so beautiful. The only thing I hate about this is that it's a one-shot, so there's only one volume, because I wanted more of them. Like, they were so cute. So yes, this is one of my top favorite reads of the year. I loved it to pieces. The sun's setting, like, it is getting a little dark, so let me speed through my last pick. This is Sayonara Game, which is also a very heartfelt series. I spoke about this guy at San Diego Comic-Con. I mean, just look at the cover alone. Like, this alone tells you what kind of story it is. Like, it is beautiful. Oh my god. So beautifully written. So you do have, they were high school classmates. They were both in the baseball team. You have the younger man who looked up to his senpai, who was, you know, the captain of the baseball team, the star athlete. And then later on in life, they reunite. He starts tutoring his younger sister, and he's still, you know, even as an adult, just kind of starry-eyed when he sees him. Our star athlete does start off being, well, he thinks he's straight, but then much like Therapy Game, then kind of realizes that he might be more bisexual. But their relationship, their communication skills, the way that things progress is just so beautifully done. So yes, it is definitely one of my favorite reads of the whole entire year. There is some spice in this one, but it's just kind of like a footnote because the rest of the story, the artwork, both of these characters are just so beautiful that the spice is just kind of like an afterthought. But I do have to mention it because this will be wrapped in plastic, so yes. And that's it. Like, it's dark. It's dark, but I hope you guys enjoyed my BL and GL manga picks. Let me know what some of your favorites were in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow me on TikTok and Twitter and Instagram. All the links are in the information bar below. And I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye!